We are back, baby. NBA, boy. That's how I make you feel when the NBA is back on TV, man. This is your boy Will Z. Well, we are back with another episode of Skybox Conversations. Back for episode 2, man, season 2 rather. Um, Damn, I'm excited, bro. NBA is back, and what a day it was, man. Other than my Lakers, we'll get to that. Because that's going to depress me to start the show. But damn, the NBA is back, and it was a hell of a day to open up the NBA season, man. The Rockets and OKC Thunder did not disappoint whatsoever. The schedule makers, Adam Silver and the team, you guys are one hell of a team at that, and some petty ones at that. You knew what you was doing having KD come back to OKC for ring night and having him watch that. Like, really? OKC fans cheering for Steven Adams but booing Kevin Durant, the guy that even made OKC relevant. I get it. He shouldn't have left and went to the team that beat him. I get all of that, but man, what a story it was to see. It was so many headlines in this game. And again, man, the game just did not disappoint. Double overtime to start the season. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. Um, where do I start? How about we start with the fact that the Rockets look so good, but damn, how much better would they look if they had Fred VanVleet? Because there were so many times in that game where it came down to the stretch and you was like, they need a point guard there. They need a point guard to get them set up, to know to get the ball to KD here, to know to get the ball to Şengün here, to go two-man game with those two dudes here, right? Don't get me wrong. I think the Thompson twin did a great job of facilitating and handling the ball tonight. I think having Şengün run the point center was amazing, very Jokic-like. I think the hopes when it comes to a dude like Reed Shepherd, I don't think he was terrible or anything. I don't think you can be too critical of him. He's only a second-year guy. But at the same time, you also, we still need that veteran leadership, that veteran point guard, that type of guy that can come in and get us organized and get us going in our offense. Understands clock management, understands time to score, understands time to get it to the star. All of these things. Start waving off KD. Like, there was just too many instances where a guy like Reed Shepherd, you fanning away one of the best players to ever play the game in Kevin Durant. That just can't happen. Right? I don't know if that was a pride thing. I don't know if that was a calling on number thing. I don't know if that was you didn't see him. I don't fucking know. But whatever it was, that can't happen. Especially in a critical game like that, right? But also you can't have Kevin Durant fouling out in overtime. You can't have it was just so many things. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about the Rockets still needing that guy, and it sucks not having a guy like Fred VanVleet. A guy like Dennis Schroeder. Not saying they're going to go get him from the Kings or anything like that, because we know the Rockets are spending a lot of money this year. But, yeah, you need a guy like that. All right, a guy that isn't super high maintenance, but is still a vet, still know how to run a team, and can still get his own buckets when it's time to, just like Fred VanVleet could. Or like a Andrew Nembhard. Ooh. Imagine a guy like that can run the show, right? Can facilitate, right? Is unselfish. But when it's time to score, they have the ability to. And can play up some pretty good defense and hold their own in that regard. Because I just felt like there were too many instances where, they kind of picked on Reed Shepherd. Then Thompson went down with whatever injury he had, hoping that he's doing okay with his leg, or it was nothing too serious, maybe just cramps or something like that. Because he was trying to stretch it out and get back out there in overtime, but it just never quite could get right and get out there. And if he don't have that burst and that speed and that lateral quickness like he has, he's just not the same guy, and we all know that. But that sucked to see. Hopefully that's nothing too serious and he's ready by next game, because I can legit say I think that the Rockets are a starting point guard, veteran type of guy away from being a legit title contender. Legit. Because KD definitely filled the void of what you fucking needed. Jesus Christ, it was beautiful to watch that man out there today. And OKC is scary. Oh my God. OKC is so scary because you didn't have J-Dub. You didn't have Isaiah Joe. You didn't shoot the ball very well from three. You didn't really make a lot of key shots. Chet Holmgren fouls out. Shea didn't have the best game. He didn't get to the line a lot. And you still find a way to win on ring night while riding that high from getting your ring before the game. Some people get into their head on that type of night and they fall apart. They get lackadaisical, whatever the case may be. Maybe they're too amped up and they can't hit shots, whatever. And then maybe that's why they couldn't hit some of the threes that OKC couldn't hit. But when it came down to time to win, they found a way to win. And it wasn't just Shea hitting shots either, man. Here come Andrew Wiggins hitting Andrew Wiggins. Here come Aaron Wiggins hitting a shot. Here comes Chet hitting big shots. Here comes Isaiah Hartenstein with that little fucking push shot that he does. Like, everybody was stepping up, man, and it was a beautiful collective effort. Just the way they was just getting busy. You know what I'm saying? And found a way to win. And Shea even went on to saying, we were rusty tonight because we haven't played in a while. And so imagine if they look like that when they really start becoming that well-oiled machine again. And one thing you can always hang your hat on was OKC. And what I feel like really turned the game around, and two people in particular, is a guy like Alex Caruso and a Cason Wallace that just locked in defensively. Start bringing a different type of toughness to the game in that second half, and really made the game more interesting. And they just walked the Rockets down, and they were both just going back and forth, blow for blow. And it almost sucked to see this big game from Şengün kind of go to waste in a way. But damn, you can tell Şengün been in that lab, though. Jesus. Dude was doing everything. Handling the ball, facilitating, scoring at will, catching it in transition, stopping on a dime, pulling up for three. Like, what the hell? Like doing a little bit of everything, man. So you can definitely tell that guy's been in the lab and been putting in the work, and it was just beautiful to watch, man. I think that was the perfect way to open up the NBA season, and it epitomizes why NBA and basketball is just a beautiful sport. And the world is a better place when basketball is on TV. Man, that game was so good. And it almost sucked to go from such a high like that with that game to my fucking Lakers. Yeah, my face just changed. My fucking Lakers, man. Because Rob Pelinka tricked us, man. Rob Pelinka tricked us because he really made us believe that we had put together something. But after watching that game and seeing the Lakers, you kind of like, something is missing with this team, right? Like, something isn't quite right when it comes to this team. We just look incomplete almost, right? Because there should never be a world where Luka has 40 points and we still down 15 points. There should never be a point in the game where that happens. And it's like, we keep living this same deja vu with this Laker team, especially in these last couple of years, where it's like, is LeBron still going to be the most athletic, best defender, communicator, best when it comes to the shifts on the defensive end? Is he still going to be that same? Like, is he still going to have to be that at 40 years old? Are we going to look like completely a different team when he doesn't play? Because it feels like so often with the Lakers, we always playing from behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, it always feels like, damn, like, we have no room for error with these Laker teams. Like, if LeBron doesn't play, or if, God forbid, Luka doesn't play, or Austin Reeves doesn't play, or multiple of these guys don't play, we're a different team. When a team like the Rockets just showed you and the Thunder just showed you that even without some of their key dudes and their best players playing, they still look like a well-oiled machine. But imagine what they would be with the Fred VanVleet, right? With the J-Dub. Right, with the Isaiah Joe coming off the bench shooting the ball. Imagine then what they would be. And that game might not even been close if we being us, but I don't know. But it's like with us, we can't afford for our second best player to sit out and still win a close game like that against the Rockets. We can't afford to do that. All right? You can't afford for Austin Reeves to have a mediocre night where he has less than 20 points and Kuminga has a better game than him. You can't afford for DeAndre Ayton to only have 8 points. You can't afford to have nights like that and expect to win with this Laker team. And that sucks because over the course of an 82-game season, there are going to be nights where everybody doesn't play, where everybody doesn't have a great game, where everything isn't going to click on all cylinders. You're not going to hit the three ball like that. And it's like, what do you hang your hat on? You can't stop anybody. You can't defend at a high level. You can't shoot the ball at a high level. And besides Luka and Austin, and then if LeBron is not out there, who else can you give the ball to and say, go get a bucket? I saw something that was so funny when I was on Twitter earlier while watching the game. It says that DeAndre Ayton is not that much better than Jackson Hayes. He just has a bit of a better green light when it comes to being around the rim. And when you think about it, I don't think that was a literal thing, or that maybe somebody that really doesn't understand ball, because DeAndre Ayton definitely has a bigger offensive package than Jackson Hayes when it comes to being able to just catch it at the high post, take that little 15, 20-footer with a quick one jab pull up and all those type of things. He can do that really well. He does have some moves around the basket, some simple moves. He's great with his hands, things like that. But, like, we all know he has the small hands. He doesn't have a super high motor when it comes to going to get loose balls and going to chase down rebound. We know what the things he struggled with, right? But, like, we just have no room for error, bro. And that's impossible not to have over the course of 8 months. You're going to have errors. And it's like, who do we become when LeBron doesn't play? And I think if it's anything relatively to what we saw tonight, then we're in trouble. Because the West is a gauntlet, man. And it's not going to get easier. Now, I'm not going to overreact because, again, that was only one game, right? You hope LeBron comes back here very soon from his sciatica. But even when you just look at our bench, though, look at our bench. Without LeBron playing, LeBron didn't play tonight, right? So let's keep that at where it is. So you got Luka, Rui, Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton, and then I'm not sure who we started tonight because I didn't catch the beginning of the game. But whoever it was, whether it was Marcus Smart, whether it was Jared Vanderbilt, or whoever the fuck it was, look at our bench. You got Jackson Hayes, Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, Bronny James, Maxi Kleber, Jared Vanderbilt coming off your bench. Dalton Connect didn't even play tonight. Your first-round draft pick. Well, you got to do like Casey Wallace in his third year, playing 42 minutes. Now, granted, Dalton Connect isn't the defender that Casey Wallace is. We get that. But damn, he can't hold his own enough and get opportunity to make shots. Now, I'm not necessarily calling out J.J. Redick for that, per se, because it's not really – I get it. Because if Dalton Connect isn't hitting shots, we're not really sure who he is. We don't know what you do if you're not hitting the three. So I'm like, when I really looked at the game and looked at our bench, I said, we really don't have no bench depth. We really don't have a dude that can come off the bench and just give you, 10, 15 points if you need it. Versus if you look at a team like OKC, they got 3 dudes that can do that. Caruso can come in at any moment and give you 20. Aaron Wiggins can come in any moment and give you 20. Casey Wallace, if he don't start, can come in and give you 20. Hardenstein come off the bench and give you 10 and 10. That's 4 people right there that could easily be somewhere else starting. Do we have a dude like that besides maybe a Marcus Smart, who's probably going to end up being my favorite role player on our team, right? That could, slide into that starting lineup at times if you need it. But damn, we don't have the depth that we thought we did. And nobody had on their bingo card per se that Kuminga was going to end up having such a great game that he had a better game than Austin Reeves. And in a world where if Kuminga has a better game than Austin Reeves, you're probably not going to win anyway. You're probably not going to win that game. And that's no disrespect to Kuminga because he was getting he was getting busy. But it's just like Kuminga also was in a situation where he's trying to prove a point. And so that's probably why he was doing what he was doing. And he started tonight, which was very surprising for Steve Kerr. Because, you hear these rumors about how they don't like each other and, Kerr doesn't really fuck with Kuminga or whatever the case may be, which is why they were in stalling out when it comes to the contract talks in the first place. But it's just like, okay, you didn't have that on your bingo card, him having a better game than Austin Reeves. And again, Luka got 40, and we still was down 15 until we went on that little 9-0 run. Then you turn right back around and let the Warriors go on an 8-0 run, and Draymond hitting threes and all type of shit. Then Steph hit a 40-footer. And it was all she wrote. You can't run Luka into the ground, and it's like I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron was thinking about leaving while he was over there watching that shit. Rob tricked us, man, and he's definitely you would hope in the back of his mind realizing, or maybe he already knew it even beforehand, that yeah, we're not done. We gotta make some more moves. We gotta go get our own Alex Caruso. We gotta go get our own Casey Wallace. We gotta go get our own Tari Eason, right? A dude that's just an energy guy. They can come up like you, man. Like I will feel much better right now if we still had Dorian Finney-Smith. If we still had a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith on this team, I would feel much better because you got a dog and a dude with some punch that can shoot the ball, spread the floor, and defend at a high level as an elite wing player. Not elite, but a great wing player coming off your bench. And they can start in that starting lineup if need be. I would feel much better about it, right? But that also goes to speak to even how deep the Rockets are. Because you didn't even have Doe play tonight. You don't have Fred VanVleet. And you still was right there in that game to the very end. So I think the bottom line for me is like, one, the NBA is back, and I'm super excited about that. The West is going to be a gauntlet. And right now, the Lakers just aren't as good as we thought. And I think, too, some people may think that because Luka's in such great shape now, that he can kind of do what he did when he took Dallas to that crazy, crazy run of going to the finals, like he did with Dallas a couple years ago. But people forget, man, Jalen Brunson was his running mate and was hooping. That is what birthed Jalen Brunson and even being able to go to New York, because Dallas didn't want to pay him. He went to New York, and he showed that wasn't a fluke. Now, granted, he had a bunch of other role players around him that he made look really, really good, and some weird things happened in the playoffs to even get him to the finals, right? But at the same time, that team that he took to the finals with the Mavs, Luka did, may be better than this team that we currently have. And it's just like, damn, are we going to completely fall apart if LeBron isn't playing? Yeah, LeBron got to miss 2 and 3 weeks at a time sometime throughout this season just because of his his age. And, God forbid something happened to him on the court. Then what? And it just makes me very nervous, man. But overall, I'm pretty excited for the season. I got a couple other teams that I'm really considering to be some of my favorites, and I'm going to keep a close eye on. But y'all know, man, this platform is all about, talking everything with the Lakers. And right now, my consensus is that we're just not as good as we thought we were going to be. And we got to make some more moves, man. And it seems like every year we're saying the same thing about the Lakers. We got to make some moves, got to improve. And it's like, how many more years can you make these big shake-up moves in the middle of the season or when the season is started, and then you're trying to get them to gel on the fly and all of these things, hoping that they're ready by the playoffs? There's not many more times you can do that and expect things to happen. So I don't know where we're going to go, man. I won't get too carried away or, come to some big-ass conclusion right now, and I'm going to see how things go after maybe 20, 30 games. But right now, I'm not sure. But that's all I got for y'all, man. I'm super excited about the season. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts about what I said, and give me your hot take. And until next time, man, I'll see y'all later. All right, peace.